everyone. You're welcome to the Total Education Show.
School is not just about academic subjects alone. School is also about co-curricular activities. School is engagement with fun.
Development of a child is 360, and that's why we have tagged this program Total Education Show.
Stream is here to raise kids that will identify the problems, come together as a group, and see a way to correct the error.
We normally say that we have 4 baskets of rights. So four baskets
of rights. At the end of 3-year training in technical colleges, students are competent enough to take any job.
Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello friends, hello everyone at home. My name is Wumi Tolualalade, your anchor on the Total Education Show. Yes, Total Education Show. The show is put together and packaged by the Lagos State Ministry of Education for your co-curricular aspect of education. So you have a total and a valued education system even in your homes. Yes. Now, what areas will we be looking at? We're going to be looking at STEM issues. We're going to be looking at TVET, and we'll be looking at, yes, child protection issues. Everything that has to do with child protection and advocacy of your children, even as they are home. Now, do you want to give me feedback? Yes, I want to hear from you. You can send in your feedbacks to me on this WhatsApp number 081-26601-889. Yes, WhatsApp messages only on 081-26601-889. Yes, I'm waiting and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Yes, it's another day today on Total Education Show. Welcome on board once more. And today we're riding the boat of child abuse and protection issues. And we'll have in the studio with me, Mrs. Vivo Adeniyi, that we had from all the other episodes we have watched on child abuse issues. Today she'll be talking about some new words that we of course we have heard about them, but they mean something else when we're talking about child abuse issues and child protection issues. And one of those words is grooming. She'll be talking about grooming, and she'll be talking about the impact of abuse on children. She'll also be talking about a whole lot more on what you can do as a parent, as a teacher, as an aunt, an uncle, yes, as the younger one of your siblings in the house, and how you can prevent the cases and incidents of child abuse around you. Even as a resident of Lagos State, you have a role to play. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. And of course, if you have any questions, continue to send it in. Get your pen and paper so that you can put down some numbers that she'll be sharing with us when she's on, in case you have to report any cases. And aside from that, on the Total Education Show, you have our number running on your screen there. Just send your WhatsApp text messages to us and we'll be there to answer you. We'll give you your prompt answer at the right time. Hold on and sit back as we continue the show. Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Total Education Show. I remain your host, Wumi Tolualalade, and I have with me here Mrs. Titilola Vivo Adeniyi.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you for coming. We have in our studio today a legal practitioner, and she works with the Lagos State government, and she's the pioneer coordinator of the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team. And this team are those people that you go to, that you send in your calls if you have any issues or reported issues of sexual abuse in your vicinity. She shared the numbers with us. We also run it on the screen as we go on. And then please get your pen and be very alert in case she tells you the number so that you can put it down, so that if you have any cases of any uncle, any auntie, or anyone disturbing you or trying to abuse you, following the codes that she's been talking about from the first episode. We learned about the basket of rights. Then in the second, at the second instance, we talked about the pens, and that is, I will let her do the honor.
Physical, emotional,
neglect and sexual abuse. Yes, I hope you got all that in. And we also looked at the red flags that you need to watch out for as a parent, as a teacher, as a caregiver, as a community. Meaning that if you're a resident of Lagos State, it is pertinent that you watch out for any evidences of child abuse in any child around you. And who is a child?
Any someone below the age of 18.
Exactly, somebody below the age of 18. So, and today we'll be looking at, she mentioned something about that. You talked about grooming the last episode, and I had that urge to ask, but I knew that we had time ticking, so I looked at it that we have to look at it fully, you know, in a very good view today. I want you to talk about grooming. To me, I know grooming is something like trying to prep people or whatever, but I want you to go all out and let us understand what it means when you talk about grooming child abuse.
Okay, thank you again for having me.
You're welcome.
So grooming is basically activities or actions that pedophiles embark on to enter into a sexual relationship with a child, and the process of maintaining that relationship in secrecy.
So I want you to define who a pedophile is for the benefit of...
Okay, a pedophile is basically anybody that sexually preys on children.
Good, thank you.
Right, so some people think that immediately a pedophile sees a child,
that's when they go into action.
No.
So it's not so.
There's a deliberate process. We actually have 4 stages.
Wow.
That a pedophile goes through
before committing the act.
So there's the first one where, and that would lead me to grooming. I'm saying this so that you get a better understanding
so that we can understand
of grooming. So the first part is the thinking stage. There's a sexual attraction towards children, and this is where pornography comes in.
Maybe the person watches pornography constantly. So
exactly.
It develops that
attraction, sexual attraction towards children. Then the next phase is the overcoming internal inhibitions. There's an internal war with the pedophile.
Yeah, in his
mind. To give himself an excuse that, you know, I will just do it. It will be a one-off thing, or it's because of the devil. Blaming somebody else, so that they give themselves the allowance or
to commit the offense.
Then we have what we call overcoming external inhibitions. People don't know that it's not just children that are groomed. Even the caregivers are groomed. And that's why you have instances where children actually confide in their parents or their caregivers that a particular person has abused them. And they cannot reconcile this saint to the person that
doing this act.
You know, because they themselves have been groomed. They've been made to believe that this person is a caring person. This person tries to do the homework of the child. You know? This person is always there, always lending a helping hand. They themselves have been groomed. And then we have overcoming victim resistance. This is where the grooming really takes place. Some people go as far as using violence to overcome the victim. Some people, after even sexually abusing, they commit murder.
And kill the victim.
They kill their victim. Or then they use grooming, and then they use secrecy to continue to sexually abuse, keep the child in that sexual relationship. So that's a bit of a bondage.
Serious bondage.
You know, I gave an example. There was a child that had stolen sweet from a kiosk.
All this malam that sells things.
And unknown to the child, there was an elderly man that had observed it. And so the next day he met...
Oh, so it's not even the malam that...
No. He just observed that the child had stolen lollipop, sweet. It's,
It's not even a store.
It's not this one.
Oh,
and he met her the following day and he approached her, made sexual advances. This girl was 12 years old. He made sexual advances towards her and she said no. And he reminded her that I saw you.
You stole sweets from Malam's shop.
Do you know that he put this girl in this sexual relationship for a year? A whole year. Just because he saw her and she was afraid that if he tells my mom will beat me black and blue. And that girl was literally put in that sexual relationship because of that.
Of fear.
Of fear. It was eventually something happened and then she was able to break the silence as she reported it. So grooming really, as I said earlier on, is the manner in which pedophiles, predators, sexual sex offenders engage their preys and keep them in that sexual relationship. So they prey on vulnerable children. They prey on children that are being neglected. They try to fill a need
in that child's life.
child. They try
there is a gap they find the gap and try to fill it.
They prey on the vulnerability and they try to maintain that relationship in secrecy.
In secrecy, wow, that's so terrible. I mean, you leaving your child in the care of a cousin or probably sending your children, young children as they are home now, sending them to buy things outside. It's not that you don't send them, but let them go in company of somebody so that they can be one or two or maybe an older child so that nobody preys on your own, on our children. Also, we should try to avoid any kind of scenarios that places the children as vulnerable to all these pedophiles, as they say. We'll take a look at a short clip and then we'll be right back to conclude and look at the roles of everyone concerning grooming a child towards sexual or any form of abuse whatsoever.
Dele Amu is a 12-year-old boy. He doesn't attend school and he lives with his aunt at Mushin. He usually stays at a neighbor's apartment because his aunt does not come till 6 p.m. during the working days. His aunt came home last week Friday and began physically abusing Dele as she always does every night, leaving him with deep marks and bruises all over his body. A mandated reporter found Dele in the neighborhood and made this report via the star 6820 # platform. The mandated reporter in furtherance sent a mail giving the details of the case, pictures evidencing the allegation. The DSVRT caseworker calls the mandated reporter to confirm the reports and extract more details such as the name of the child, residential address, and the name of his parents.
Thank you for making this report. Can we have the name of the child, the age, address, and the name of his parents?
Caseworker thereafter writes a letter about the case, including the details about the child with pictures evidencing the allegation to the Child Protection Unit, CPU, the Secretariat Ikeja, in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Immediately, rescue operation commenced between the Child Protection Unit and the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, visiting the Mushin Police Division, informing them of the case. The police thereafter joined the team and rescued Dele. Dele was put in a shelter some hours later and was taken to the Primary Health Care Center, Mushin, for treatment. The Mushin Police Division later that night arrested Dele's aunt and charged her to court for child abuse. Dele was reunited with a trusted family member and is being followed up.
Welcome back to the Total Education Show. You saw what we just viewed just now at the during the break, and you agree with me that this cannot be more true than what we have and what is the reality. Even in recent times, we've had situations and reports of abuse all over, particularly during the pandemic era. In this pandemic era, it is very evident that parents need to make ends meet. They need to go around to probably go to the market, meet the women to go and buy food items. You know, we have to eat, and sometimes the father, the mother, they need to go to work, even if they will come back earlier than before. And you have the children at liberty and at the left and neglected. I want you to talk very much on this aspect of neglect and how the impact of neglect as a form of abuse on the children.
You know, we said in the first episode that neglect is at the heart of child abuse.
Yes.
And if we're looking at way forward, what can we do better as parents, as caregivers? We need to prioritize our children. We are not here to bash parents. We're not saying that parents should not go
and fend for
the children.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is that if you fend for children who are being abused, what's the point? What's the point of making so much money and the children that you're supposed to bequeath this funds to are broken? You're literally building or grooming broken children who will become broken adults. You know, so as parents, as caregivers, we have to do hands-on parenting. We have to bond with our children.
Hands-on parenting.
Hands-on. Literally hands-on.
Be there. Be there.
Be there. Not just be there. Be actively there. You know, you can be here and you can be on your phone. And as we're speaking, I'm speaking to myself as well. You can be there and you think that, oh, you're fellowshipping with your children, but you're not. The children are watching TV.
God
you're on your phone.
God help us.
That is not.
This is so much.
You know, you're not inculcating values. You're not fellowshipping with them. You're not talking to them. And if you're not talking to them, somebody is talking to them. If they're not talking to you, they're talking to somebody. And it might just be a perpetrator. You know, so we have to have hands-on parenting. We appreciate that, you know, people are busy. Women have taken up leadership roles
in the homes.
Some women are even breadwinners. You know, so that initial,
because of the economy, the situation that we are in.
But the point is, even if it's just 1 hour, you can give.
Totally give yourself. Be there
every day. You drop your phone. You fellowship. You bond. You want to know what happened to you. How if they are back in school. How was school? Did anybody upset you? Did anybody do anything you're not? Tell me, talk to me, fellowship with me.
We're all learning. We're all learning that.
So that the child can know that, okay, I have a listening ear in my mom or my dad. And it's not just on the mothers.
Even
fathers
the
have a role to play in bringing up whole children. You know, so if we're able to have that relationship with our children, the children will be able to confide in us. They'll be able to talk to us. They'll be able to tell us things that, you know, we may not have known, but for us asking those right questions.
So to avoid neglect, you're telling us now that it's very important that we play hands-on parenting, that is being there, being present. And even if we're not present, because looking at the economy, like we have just mentioned, that some women, or either way, we have to fend for our children, for ourselves. The house rent is ongoing. We have so many bills piling up and all that. We should have a way of being there. Probably you connect through video texting or you know, we can use the technology to our advantage. You can actually check up on your children. You are at work, have a camera fixed somewhere at home so that you know what is going on, and so they know that mommy is not here, but I'm not neglected. Yes. Daddy is busy, but he's here.
Exactly.
Maybe a phone call, a number, or you have a landline, or they have phones. Mind you, we should be careful with that too. But then, if they know that you are just a call away, I think that will really help.
Definitely.
Now, looking at all this, we will agree that we have a lot to do as parents. We have a lot to do as residents of Lagos State. We have a lot to do even as caregivers, as teachers. And we can't overflog this. The time is now, particularly when we have these children at home. Even when they resume school, as teachers, as parents, we still have our roles to play. So we should not joke with this issue of abuse. We have heard from the expert, from Mrs. Adeni Vivo, that there are physical abuse, there is neglect, there is, which we always overlook. We always feel like there's nothing like that. We have the emotional abuse, which I think we will talk about that next episode. And then we have what we call the sexual abuse, which is the big one, the big elephant in the house, and is going rampant right now because everybody is just, I think depression is high now. A lot of people are afraid of catching the virus or whatever, the coronavirus. So they let out their anger in so many ways. And we should be very careful to allow our children to be the ones that will be at the receiving end of such emotions. Thank you very much, Mrs. Vivo, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I want to say some questions have been sent in, and I know we are still open to feedback. So please feel free to send in your comments, your additions to all our discussions. You have questions for Mrs. Adeni Vivo, she will give you answers. And send your text messages to the number on your screen. And you can as well check us out on all our media channels, the Lagos State social media channels, and we'll also give you feedbacks as soon as we can. See you next week, and hopefully we'll be talking more on other aspects of child abuse. I remain your anchor, Wunmi Tolualalade, and we say thank you to Mrs. Vivo as well.
Thank you.
See you next week. Tokpe, you are taking biscuit from Uncle Habib. Aha. Ibrahim, Auntie Fadeke gave you t-shirts, or is it boxers, and you didn't tell your mom? Oh, mommy saw it. Mommy said thank you. Well, that could be signs of grooming. Maybe the auntie, the uncle is trying to groom your child and groom you along with it in the process, so that they can gain your trust, gain the trust of the children, win their attention, and then go and swing right into action before you know it. So we all need to be very careful, as we have heard Barrister Titilola Vivo Adeni talk about today on the show. So we should be very careful, and then we should see and be observant and be able to notice all those impacts on our children, so that we know that yes, this is a sign of someone trying to abuse our child. I thank you for watching the show today, and I would like to say thank you to the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, for his support towards every issue that has to do with protecting and safeguarding children in the state. And also the wife, because I'm very sure, and we can see that anything that has to do with children, she doesn't take it for joke. Mommy, the wife of the governor, we say thank you, and we say good job you for all that you've been doing concerning child protection issues in Lagos State. Without much ado, I will also want to conclude by saying thank you to the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo. Yes, we also thank the PS Education, we thank the Tutor General Permanent Secretaries, and we thank each and every staff, the parents as well, of the Lagos State Ministry of Education. We say thank you to all citizens of Lagos State for taking your time out to sit down and watch this program every time we bring it to your viewing. We want to assure you that we're still very at home, waiting for your responses, for your feedbacks, for your questions. Remember that we have your interest at heart. Yes, Tokpe, you can send that message to me on that WhatsApp number on the screen, and be sure that I will relate your message to the right quarters so that the matter can be settled. Bolaji, don't keep it to yourself. Try to do something, say something, and act on time in case there is somebody following after you. I say thank you for being part of the show. See you next time, and bye for now.